Advaniji, for having me here, giving this opportunity of sharing the views of Sri Ramchandra Mission on meditation. Meditation is not a theory that we learn in colleges. Even whatever we learn in colleges has to and must manifest in the work environment, application of my knowledge in the working environment. And you learn slowly that all that we gather, though everything is not applicable in the real world, but they somehow add on to each other. It's like I cannot walk to the terrace unless I take the first step. And having reached the terrace, I cannot say that my first step was useless. See, many people, they say spirituality and religion, they are far apart. Some people compare that religion is the beginning stage, like a kindergarten, where you are taught to learn alphabet with stencils. As children, we all learnt alphabet. Somebody held our hands and they said, this is A, and then they give us the stencil and we carry on with it. When we enter college, we don't walk around with that stencil and say, write with those alphabets. We become the champions. But we cannot say it was useless. It played its part. Stencils had its play, it had its role. Religion also has its role, culminating, remembering the word culminating into spirituality. I cannot remain worshipping the way I worship stencil. It must become my innate nature to worship, not through the objects, but it becomes my nature. So having established this fundamental principle and understanding, I would move on to say, why meditation? Most of us need not be told. It runs in our blood. Presence of God. Any child you ask, where is God? He's everywhere, people say that, see. We are indoctrinated from our childhood with the presence of God. Some people call God, some they call Ishwar, some people say it's Antaryamin, Khuda, what have you. See, too many names to the same entity. And we fight over all these things. Until we experience this oneness of God, till then, each philosophy will keep on dividing us. And that is not the purpose of religion. Religion, if one looks at the genesis of its word, religion. Re means to again, legion means to connect, ligar. One that connects me to what? With the source. Yoga, also it's a similar word, yogaha. One that joins, yajyuti iti yogaha. So, one that joins. The word in Sanskrit and word in English, they both convey the same meaning, same understanding that I have to unite myself with my Maker. My Atma must merge with Paramatma. Now, this is the second thing I would like you to understand. The third thing I would like you to understand, that knowledge, though it's very impressive, the very knowledge that God is everywhere, is it enough for me? You ask yourself a question. I know God is everywhere. Now this know, how did it come to? How did you come to this conclusion that I know God is everywhere? Is it the hypothesis? Is it experience-based claim, or is it a borrowed knowledge from my grandmother or grandparents or my father or my friends or from books? Nevertheless, this knowledge has not been actualized through the experience of its presence. Though He is everywhere, I am not even able to feel His presence in myself. Then what is the use of this presence and what is the use of this knowledge? That's why we advocate experience meditation. See. Only through experience one can be convinced without any doubt that yes, it is there. Like in science, we come up with some hypothesis and then later prove that it is so. Or we begin with the hypothesis that it is not so and so, and in the end we conclude either it's positive or negative. And spirituality is also as scientific. I would not say it is just an imaginary concept. It is not. Theoretically, I can convince you, but how long will this white wash last on your heart? But if it is made possible, and if you are able to feel the presence of that Almighty in your heart, then all the questions, all the doubts, all the surprises will vanish in no time. That's why we focus more on experience rather than knowledge. Of course, knowledge is better than having nothing in your head. But next step should be to actualize this experience through this knowledge through experience. And I would like to offer you little experiment feeling this presence in your heart. The meditation is described or can be defined in many ways. But one single definition that appeals, and most people agree on it, is meditation is nothing but keeping your thought on one object for as long as you can. So you rest your mind on one object. Some people rest the mind on one object, let us say a flame outside called Deepam or Noor, or they fix the mind on some sound or just the attention on tip of the nose. Some people fix their attention on chakra here, they call third eye. Some people keep it on the nabi, some people on the crown of the head. And everyone has their regions for whatever reasons they may be advocating that. I know some of you may have also meditated on your own, may not be as systematically, may not be as regularly, but it will give you the platform for comparison if you had already meditated. This system is very unique in a way, though the method is simple. Method is useless unless and until there is another element we call transmission is applied to it. See? And what is this transmission? In order to understand the concept of transmission, which is described in Sanskrit as pranahuti, in Urdu it is called tawajjo. Okay. I'll have to take a little exit from this talk and bring up another subject on nutrition, nourishing our physical system, our body. We take, we consume diet as far as possible. If it is balanced diet, it's great. Vitamins, protein, fat, carbohydrates, all fibers in a balanced state. Okay, that nourishes our physical body. Then we go on to the second aspect of our existence, mental enrichment. How do we nourish that? You are all going through the process at the moment, enriching yourself mentally. And please don't let it stop with the stopping of this degree. Let it continue. Don't let it rust. Education should never be stopped till we die. Otherwise, if you don't, as they say, if you don't use it, you lose it. And we also have a third body. First body is the grosser body, physical body. We get the nutrition from food. Second is mental, and that it derives its nutrition through such enrichment via our professors, via what we do with this, with their teaching. We assimilate it, we absorb it, we assimilate it, and later on make it more intense through our work, actualize it in our experience. We also have a third entity we call soul or the Atma. Did you ever think how do we or how can we enrich that soul? Is there any food for that? Suppose some of you may say yes, some of you may say no. Let's put it differently. When you are hungry and you eat something like a baby without realizing that it's a food, and if it satisfies your hunger, you're happy. You may not even call, this is my food. Child doesn't speak, it's my food. When you're thirsty, without knowing the name water, it still quenches your thirst. And when you are so desperate about knowledge, it really does not matter where from we gather our knowledge. It just impresses our heart so much. You are lost in that knowledge. You are somehow in a state of joy when we learn something new. Similarly, when the inner being, the soul, though we do not know how it feels hungry and not, but if somehow, through some process, if it is satisfied, if it remains at peace, if it brings or derives immense calmness that it has never experienced before, then you can say, yes, something is all right. I am being fed. That's what I call prana-huti. Prans ahuti. Sacrifice of someone's soul for the enrichment of my soul. Now, when you say sacrificing someone's soul, it does not mean we are killing someone, no. But a yogi at the pinnacle of his sadhana, or yogi at the pinnacle of his evolution, he merges in the ultimate. He derives the essence from the ultimate, and he is able to, after drawing it, he can transmit it. And the people who receive it, they feel it. And that's what we like to offer to you if you are interested. And to simply encourage you all to try out, I'll throw another possibility that how limited we are in the physical world. Our body, with its limitations at a genetic level, If you are going to grow 5 feet 5, you'll grow only 5 feet 5, maybe 5.6 if you keep on exercising. Your muscles may not be as big as one of those machos, but you can surpass your parents' physical status by exercising and by properly looking after your body with right nutrition. But a 5-footer cannot dream of becoming a 6-footer. There is enormous limitation at a physical level, imposed, restrained by the genetics or the genes that we have inherited from our parents. If you go to the next level, growth at the mental level, it is not as restricted. It is not genetic in its order. If my father is a farmer, I have all the possibility of becoming PhD, or a son or a daughter of a rickshaw puller can still become a PhD or super PhD, double PhD, triple PhDs. But not all can become Einsteins. There is limitation there too. But there is a greater flexibility than at a physical level. Going to the spiritual realm, there are no limitations. Possibilities are infinite. You can go on expanding, keep growing infinitely in the spiritual field. Because now you're merging with God. And if God is infinite and if my merger is in the infinite, my growth must be infinite. So there is a greater possibility through meditation. I welcome you all to try it out. If you like it, continue with it. If you don't like it, there is no loss to anyone. But once you like it, make it a commitment to yourself. Not that you're going to satisfy any of your parents by sitting quietly with closed eyes and become a saint. Or you're not even here to satisfy God. We are here to satisfy our existence. The very purpose of existence is to excel in whatever we do. Most people have this question, why was I born? Was it a mistake? The only thing, after many years of interaction within myself, I've come to this fundamental conclusion that this life is given to us so that we excel in whatever